Hey everybody, Austin here again with another quick play. Today it is a Nintendo 64 quick play again. This time of F-Zero X. Excellent racing game. Probably my favorite racing game of all time, honestly. Definitely up there with my favorites for sure. It's definitely my most played N64 game ever. It is the title I always have to play whenever I fire up my Nintendo 64. Whether it's for a casual play session or it's for like a live variety stream or something like that. This is a game I always have to fire up because it's so good. It's got killer music, it's got killer gameplay, it's fun, it doesn't take forever to go through. I can actually rush through this in about an hour. And that's what we're going to attempt here, actually. I haven't played this in a while, but for those of you guys that haven't seen this series before, this is kind of like my series of casual videos where I just fire up a game. We can just kind of see if we can actually make it through it or not, or see how far we can get. Now, F-Zero X, despite me not having played it in a little while, this is one of those games that I always warm up to almost instantly. Like, I don't really have to practice this game. I've played it so much over the years, with it being my most revisited Nintendo 64 game, I can usually just fire it up and just not have any problems going right into it. Part of that is that the track design isn't too complicated in this game, so there's not like a ton of memorization involved, thankfully. Like, I can kind of go into this like and play on the fly and still kind of have an idea where I'm going, but you don't have like tons of crazy twists and turns and stuff like that where it's like you memorize or die. You know, F-Zero X isn't really like that for the most part. So yeah, usually when I fire this up, I don't have too much trouble going through it. So we're going to attempt to go through this game. We're going to actually play on the default difficulty. I think last time I played it on Expert. I usually play on Expert whenever I jump into this, but I kind of want to have greater guarantees of success, so we're going to play on the default normal difficulty. And we're going to see if we can just kind of go through all the cups and, and get the ending. So, for those of you guys wondering, this title screen is actually different than probably a lot of you guys are familiar with. That's because when you complete certain objectives, or you beat the game on a certain difficulty, you'll actually alter the title screen, which is really cool. And there's some unique unlockables like that in this game. And it saves everything to the cartridge. It doesn't use your memory card. A lot of the Nintendo published titles and Nintendo produced titles would save to the cartridge, which is awesome. I wish more N64 games did that. But F-Zero X is one of those, and so, once you unlock it, it's just there for good. So very cool stuff. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and just jump into this and see what we can do here. So let's go ahead and hit start. Go to our main menu, and you've got a whole lot of different options here. Timer Tech is a lot of fun because, again, it saves data to the cartridge. It saves all your times and stuff like that. You can just do a practice mode. There's Death Race, which is an interesting sort of like oval vertical track, and you try to just kill every opponent on it instead of actually just racing. You actually have to knock people off or just destroy them. It's pretty cool stuff. You've got other options here as well. And let's go ahead and just hit exit. And go to GP Race. And so you notice I've unlocked Master Mode. So you do that by beating everything on Expert. And I've never actually completed Master. It's extremely difficult. But what we're going to do is actually just play the standard difficulty mode here. And you'll notice that each cup here actually has an X on the top. That's an X for each difficulty level. Now, if you go in fresh and you've got no save data, if you beat each cup on Expert, it'll automatically fill in the easy and normal modes, which is nice. So, they didn't cop out and force you to go through everything on each difficulty. You can just literally go and jump in and play on Expert, and then you'll pretty much fill in all the X's. Once you fill in all those X's, you'll unlock the last cup, and you beat that last cup, you'll unlock another one, which is the X cup, which is like a randomized cup. It just basically auto-generates or randomly generates tracks. It's really cool. You notice that we have a lot of different ships to pick from as well. There's so many different characters to play as, but I always like the tried and true Blue Falcon, which is driven by Captain Falcon. And when you select your ship, you can actually choose whether you prefer greater acceleration or maximum speed. I usually go for, more in the max speed direction. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this. F-Zero X, man. It's been a little while, but always feels so good to play this game. Alright, so you hold A to go, and you use the analog stick to steer. And this is one of those games where using an original Nintendo 64 controller is imperative. I've used a lot of third-party solutions, and they just don't do the trick in this game. And so, you know, the original N64 analog stick is extremely sensitive, which is necessary for a game like this. You have to really finesse the stick, like barely touch the stick to steer. And then you slowly move the stick in the direction you want to go, so you get nice and smooth turns. Now, if you need to turn sharp, you do have the Z button and the R button, which veers you to the left and right. But for a course like this that has just huge, wide, smooth turns, I don't really need it. Now, after lap 1, you actually get boost functionality, and you can press the B button to use that. And we're in the normal difficulty, and this guy's, like, already passed me. I don't know why. You'd think I'd have, like, sort of, like, default victory against some of these opponents. So it looks like I might actually still have to work here, even on normal. So, basically, boosting uses up your shield meter, or your energy meter, but you can basically stack boosts on top of each other. So before your first boost ends, you can do another boost, and it has like a snowball effect. You'll just speed up and speed up and speed up and speed up. Now, you do lose control the faster you go, so you need to be very careful about how fast you're going, where you're boosting, and whatnot. You'll notice that when you finish a course, you'll actually get ranking points, and that actually comes into play in terms of like how you finish at the end of a cup. You know, you don't have to come in first on every race. As long as you get first at the end, you're pretty much good to go. Now, you can also slam into your opponents. So you notice that that guy in front of me, he was right behind me in the last race, and he's considered a rival. And so if I wanted to, I can try to knock him out. I just knocked him out. So he's out of the race. So he's no longer going to be right behind me in the rankings. He's gotten 0 points for this race now. And that's one of the strategies to advancing and getting first place at the end of the whole cup. So you don't have to come in first on every race or even any race. You just need to make sure, you need to manipulate the rankings by killing your opponents or knocking them out. So this is a great track to learn how to use boost pads. Now, you don't want to go too fast at the very end here because there is a tiny little hump, and if you're going really, really, really fast, you'll actually fly off the hump and fly off the course. And if you fly off a course in this game, you basically lose a life. So if you look at the top left, you'll notice I have 4 lives right now. And when you run out of lives, that's basically game over. And you got to do the whole cup over again. Now again, thankfully, it doesn't take that long to go through each of these cups. You know, I think my last Let's Play of this game was about an hour long. And so, yeah, even if you lose a cup, it's not like the end of the world. Oh, I lost 15 minutes of my time. Let me try again. So, or let me try some other day. Alright, Sand Ocean. So there are a lot of interesting gimmicks in this game. So the original F-Zero for Super Nintendo basically utilized that, what they call the Mode 7 graphics mode. The Super Nintendo's video display processor had multiple modes. Mode 7 was one where it basically took a background and could scale it and rotate it basically infinitely. And so F-Zero's courses were basically made up of this large, you know, background image, and it would rotate around, and, you know, it would scale, and, you know, as like the courses were introduced and whatnot. But you can only do so much with that. F-Zero X being in full 3D with polygons. Polygons were all the rage when this game came out. They still are all the rage. They're pretty much industry standard now. Who would have ever thought? They could do a whole lot more. And so now you have like half pipes, you've got full pipes, you've got pipes that you drive on the outside of. You can drive on ceilings now. There's all sorts of, you know, interesting things you can do in 3D that you couldn't really do with that classic, you know, Mode 7. Or scaling of just like a single background image. And so F-Zero X introduces a lot of new gameplay mechanics that would also be carried forward into the sequel to this game, which was F-Zero GX, and that was on the GameCube. Now, some of the Game Boy Advance ones are actually really fun to play. They do show that some other things could have been done with the, you know, the old Super Nintendo engine, but not a whole lot more, honestly. So it wasn't really till F-Zero X here that we got even wider track variety. And then F-Zero X also changed how boosting is done. So in the original Super Nintendo F-Zero, after you completed a lap, it would give you like one special boost. And it would last for like a good 10 or 15 seconds, and you would go really, really fast, but you had to be very selective about how you use them, and you only got one for each lap you completed. So you'd get, I think, typically 4 for a whole race. You'd get 3, and then you could carry a maximum of 3, then you'd have to use one if you wanted to get your 4th one. But F-Zero X just changes it completely. So, you know, they changed it to where after you finish lap 1, you can boost at your own will. It doesn't last nearly as long as the SNES boost. I just had a bird slam into my window. That was kind of creepy. Okay. That was distracting. In F-Zero X, you can, you know, use your boost. It uses up your energy bar. It doesn't use a ton of energy, but it does use energy. And so if you want to keep boosting, you're getting closer and closer to potentially dying. Because, you know, when your energy runs out and you slam into a wall or you bump into an opponent, you lose, you die. Every time you slam into something, you lose energy, no matter what. You bump into a wall, you bump into an opponent, a little bit of energy is lost. And so if you boost and boost and boost and you've got 0 energy left, and you run into something, it's just instant, not game over, but you lose a life. And then you've got to do the whole track over again. So that's what's satisfying about the F-Zero X gameplay system and boosting system, is the fact that, like, there's a risk versus reward. Obviously, you want to try to get first place if you can, because then, you know, you have the greatest chance of winning at the end of the whole cup. And here's the tube, the outside tube I was talking about, or pipe. So yeah, there's a risk versus reward system in play here, and it makes it super satisfying, much more satisfying than the old format in F-Zero and Super Nintendo. Now, don't get me wrong, I love F-Zero for Super Nintendo. It's one of my, along with F-Zero X, is one of my all-time favorite racing games. I absolutely love that game. But the system in F-Zero X and subsequently F-Zero GX is more interesting. It's got a little more nuance to it. It's not just, oh, I have one boost, let me just use it in this long straightaway every single lap. You know, this is like, let me try to boost as much as I can and try to get down to the line where, like, if I make one mistake and slip up, I could die instantly. And that makes it more intense, too. It makes it more thrilling and exciting. But I also don't always have to boost the same way every lap. Woo! Yeah, if you actually go too fast here, you can actually fly off and land in the water. That is something you have to watch out for in this game. When you're going really fast and you go off a hill, you literally fly off the track. And so you really have to know where those parts are. Otherwise, you can find yourself getting out of control really quickly. Thankfully, I know where those parts are, because like I said, I've played this game a lot over the years. It's honestly, this is probably my most played racing game of all time. It's up there with my favorites. It probably is my favorite if I really, you know, put my mind to it. And it's definitely my most played N64 game. So when I come back to it, I generally have a pretty good idea of where all those weird, like, hills and bumps are, so I don't go flying off the track. One, go. So this is Port Town. This is our final track for this cup. And this is a really fun one to just, like, blitz through, because there are some really sharp turns here. You do have to kind of stop or brake. I actually don't brake very often in this game. I just, like, let go of the gas, and then I just let the, you know, just sort of let gravity do its thing, I guess. But yeah, this part right here, you can actually constantly boost and just, like, go really far. It's really fun. Yeah, what I just did there is actually I just let off the gas pedal, which also helps. So instead of braking, I just let off gas. Now you'll notice that I just kind of slid out there. I guess there's not really skidding in this because you're technically hovering, but it makes the skid kind of sound. So that is one reason why it's very important to be able to finesse your controls in this, and it's another reason why the stock N64 analog stick is so important for this game. Is if you push the analog stick too far, you will skid out, and you do not want to do that. Like, you slow down extremely slow. Extremely slow. That was kind of redundant. You slow down like crazy if you skid. So ideally, you don't do that. And so a lot of times what I do is I just let off the gas a little bit. And there we go, starting to skid, I could tell it. Alright, and this is the end. There's only 3 laps on each track, so the courses go by so much faster in this game. It's another improvement, I think, over the original F-Zero. Like, this is, like, really fast and to the point. Like, no course takes more than, like, 2 minutes to go through. And so you're going from one track to the next, to the next, to the next, in a very snappy fashion. Alright, so what I'm going to do is actually, if it allows me to, I'm going to skip through this. And it doesn't, actually looks like it's not going to let me skip through it. Basically, we're going to see this for every cup that we complete. Yeah, it's not going to let me skip through it. That's fine. Yeah, look at that. 1:19 on Silence. 1:19 on Sand Ocean. 1:22. That's really short. That's like arcade short. Like, arcade driving games won't let you play for that long. You know, even if you have multiple tracks, you're usually only playing for a couple of minutes at a time. But it's fun. So I should notice, I should note that the star icon there is for how many opponents you've knocked out. I only knocked out 1. On the normal difficulty level, it doesn't seem like it's necessary. On Expert and Master, you pretty much have to, well, maybe it's different if you're playing as one of the heavier ships that can go a lot faster. You know, on Expert and Master, strategy to winning and getting first place is knocking out opponents. And so I knocked out my first opponent on track 2, and that's all I did. I tried knocking out a couple of others, but I found it wasn't really necessary. I was getting to the head of the pack, and I was able to get through it without a problem. So that's nice. All right, on to cup number 2. All right, so GP race standard, Queen Cup, Sector A, inverted loop, and we're gonna go ahead and just do Captain Falcon for pretty much this whole playthrough. This is really all I play as. You know, despite how much I've played this over the years, I've always just played as Captain Falcon. I really should try to experiment with other ships, but Captain Falcon feels so comfy to me. It's so comfortable. It's like coming back to an old friend, you know? Now, I really shouldn't be focusing on attacking anybody here. I should really just be focusing on first place. And then if, you know, I feel like there's an opponent that's too close to me in the rankings, then I can go after them. But on this first track, I probably shouldn't even bother. So this is definitely one of those courses where, you know, it definitely helps to have practiced. And that's where the time trial mode really comes in handy. Like right here, if I went too fast there, I would have actually flown right off that hill. I would have flown off the track. So, you know, knowing stuff like that absolutely helps. If you want to maximize speed. Oh, it's that guy again. You again, really? I think this guy's going to be the bane of my existence for this whole playthrough. Yeah, practice mode and the time trial mode in particular really helps at learning these courses and getting better at them, knowing where you can boost and where you can't boost. Alright, nice. So the voice guy in this, the announcer, is a little weird. He sounds quite goofy, but he's got some callouts that indicate kind of like how far ahead you are. Like right there at the end, he said, "Oh, you're way far out and ahead," or whatever. Which meant, like, right before the finish line, I knew I was safe unless I slammed into a wall or something like that. So this is Red Canyon, kind of a fun track. It's a very simple track, but if I remember correctly, I think there are a bunch of jumps and stuff like that here, which is cool. If you've never played this game before, you'll also notice there's a ton of traffic on the courses. There are 30 racers in this game. And while a lot of people kind of criticize this game for its like simplistic visuals, if it didn't have these simplistic visuals, you would not have so much chaos on the tracks. And the amount of racers is one of the things that definitely makes this game. Also, as you probably noticed, this is one of the few N64 games, one of the few games of its generation, one of its few polygonal games of its generation at least, that runs at 60 frames a second. And it very, very rarely drops. It might drop if you slam an opponent into another and you cause a chain reaction of opponents just dying left and right. But aside from that, it pretty much never drops below 60. And it's wonderful. It's one of the things that allows this game to hold up so well. And I keep missing the boost pads, but it's not really a big deal. So those pink tracks, you know, it's funny, I haven't actually explained it yet, but the pink tracks actually will regenerate your energy or replenish your energy. So whenever you see those, you absolutely want to drive through them because your boost is extremely important in this game. So it looks like the guy behind me is about 26 points behind me. So, you know, as long as I'm consistently getting first place, I'll be fine. Well, obviously, if I get first place on every course, I'm going to win, guaranteed. That's just how point systems work. Oh, there he goes. That guy's not going to be a problem. But there's my actual rival. He's next in line. This one has a lot of hops. So you have to be very careful. Every time you boost and you go off a hill, you're going to fly off that hill. Now, you do have another move. If you hold down the Z button and double tap R, you do this spin, which can actually be quite handy if you want to try to attack multiple opponents. But I absolutely love how you can just really screw with the rankings based on, like, just killing random people. It's so much fun. It's a game where, like, yeah, it emphasizes good driving, but you can also be kind of terrible and just kill everybody at the same time and win. I love that angle, you know, it's a good twist. It's not all just about driving and dealing with potentially ruthless AI. Got him. So that's going to really put me at an advantage when it comes to rankings. Finessing that analog stick. The wonderful, wonderful N64 analog stick that people don't give enough credit to. It's one of the best analog sticks for driving games because you can finesse it so much. And it's a reason I'm not a big fan of third-party stick replacements or third-party N64 controllers because a lot of them don't get that level of control down that the original stick has. And it's absolutely crucial to this game. It's at least crucial to my enjoyment of this game. I played with some analog sticks where the dead zone is way too big, and it's very difficult to go through these turns smoothly. As smooth as you want to. Now I'm just getting sloppy. Let's focus. I don't really need to destroy that opponent. I'm plenty far ahead. And I think this is our last... Is this our last course on Queen already? No, it's not. We haven't even gone to, like, Whiteland. I think Whiteland's on Queen. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Whiteland 2 is on King. Whiteland 2 is one of my favorites just to play in Time Attack. And you'll see why once we start playing it. It's very, very fun. It's very, very fun to try to keep like a top speed, but it's very dangerous at the same time. So it's thrilling. Which is F-Zero X in a nutshell. It's thrilling. Add a trademark to that quote. Alright, so we have jumps. You can hold back on the analog stick when you're in the air, but I find that it's not really... You don't want to hold back on the stick because it slows you down, it seems like. So in the not really, I don't want to say 2D, but, you know, Super Nintendo F-Zero and some of the Game Boy Advance ones, I believe, if you hold back when you go off jump pads, I think you actually speed up, but it doesn't work like that in F-Zero X. Now, when you go off a jump pad, you can actually hold forward and try to nosedive back down to the ground. That might speed you up. Don't quote me on that. Please don't quote me on that, but it might. When I go off like big jumps and I've got to go down to a lower level of track, it feels like I go faster. So, but holding back is good if like you're veering off course. You feel like you're not going to land on the course. You can, you know, it'll give you some extra wiggle room to land back on the track after a big jump. But I'm pretty sure it slows you down big time, so it's not really worth doing. Alright, this is a pretty dangerous section here, so what I like to do is just kind of like not even bother trying to attack anybody or get too fancy. Otherwise, I'll end up falling off the course. Whoa there! That very rarely happens. I like turn right into the corner, literally, like into the wall, and then I just stopped dead in my tracks. That was interesting. So again, same thing here. Just try to stay nice and straight. Don't mess around too much, because there are no walls in that section. This is actually one of the tougher courses in the game. It's got a lot of tight turns. And also, the opportunity for shield replenishment is minimal. Very minimal compared to other tracks. Alright, I'm in first place. I think we're gonna be good. This is the end. Awesome. Another one bites the dust. I love the music in this game. It's one of my all-time favorite soundtracks, too. I've always been like a hard rock and heavy metal guy. And this is, you know, just, it fits that bill so well for me. It's energetic, driving music. Could also be a little on the darker side. Which is cool. You know, Nintendo didn't use this style of music very often in their games. And it's just like good stuff. The White Land theme in particular is very melodic. I love it. Alright, so this one has a bunch of jumps at the end. And as you can tell, the course itself is a little... Oh, whoa! The course is a little on the thin side. And so it's very easy, in the beginning parts anyway, to just be ganged up by your opponents, and then something like that can happen too, where you can, you know, fall off the ledge if you're not paying attention. Hey, let's try to not fall off this time. I'm gonna slow down a little bit, actually. Or speed up, why not? Yeah, very thin compared to the previous course. So it's even easier to fall off. I'm holding forward a little bit to sort of like dive down. Yeah, it really feels like I speed up when I do that. Alright, so we're getting ahead of the pack, which makes life a little bit easier. Less people you have to worry about. So he's getting 0 points. Okay, you have to be careful here. It's actually possible to boost too far and actually slip through those cracks. Oops. Completely skid against that wall, which made me lose a lot of energy. Yeah, despite the simplistic visuals in this game, I like how every track does look pretty distinct in terms of like its color usage and textures and stuff like that. And I do like how, despite how simple it is, you do kind of feel like you're flying up in the sky. It's really cool. It's a good look. Nintendo did a really good job with this one. I do find it kind of unreasonable when people complain about the low visual detail, because like the visual style just, it works in my opinion, and the frame rate is super high, and there's a lot going on the tracks with all the opponents and stuff like that. It's just like, you know, I'd much rather something that looks like a little more simplistic and clean at a high frame rate with a lot going on the course itself, as opposed to like really detailed backgrounds and less than 30 frames a second, which compromises gameplay and the overall feel and the snappiness. And this has some like cool lighting effects too. Like you look at like the little light reflections on the car. You actually didn't see that all that often back then. It's a simple effect, but it's very, very effective, and it's nice. Look at that. I killed 6 people. So if you kill 5, I think it's 5, maybe 4. I'm pretty sure it's 5. One of the two. If you do that on a single course, you'll actually get yourself an extra life. So that's actually one strategy I used to use on expert mode in particular, is try to kill as many people as possible to get as many extra lives as possible. And as far as I'm aware, there's no limit. It's just every 4 or 5, I'm pretty sure it's 5, you get yourself an extra life. My time has not yet passed. Alright, we're at the halfway point. Thanks for playing. You're welcome, Nintendo. You're welcome. Let's keep playing. If the game lets me. Alright, back to standard. On to King Cup. So when you first start the game, you technically only have the first 3 cups. The 4th one is unlocked, and then once you complete the 4th one, along with the others on expert, you'll unlock the 5th one. So if you're just firing this up for the first time, this would technically be your last cup. That you're aware of, anyway, if you've never played this before. But then you unlock the 4th one. And the 4th one probably has the most devious tracks, which is probably why it's unlockable. But King Cup here has some interesting courses as well. I mean, this first one definitely is not the smoothest thing in existence, and that's what makes it kind of cool. And you've got this big hill, and you can boost and boost and boost, and boost and boost and boost. It's actually entirely possible to like boost all the way over to this part over here. It's kind of crazy. Alright, let's get our shield back. Still in first place, so I'm doing okay here. You see there's that check mark behind me. That tells me where the opponent is. That was something that was actually in the original F-Zero for Super Nintendo. And that was carried over into this game. It's a good little feature, because there's no rear view mirror here. That is kind of like your rear view. And there we go, we got it. Very nice, good first track. Samurai Goro is behind me. He's one of the original 4 F-Zero drivers. Alright, Silence 2, Wavy Road. You'll notice that I don't really change my settings, you know? And one thing that's actually really interesting is if you do change your settings, the game will actually save your settings for each course. It's really interesting. And Goro is gone. Goro is getting 0 points. Now this one, I don't remember if it actually has any open sides. I think it's just like a twisty track. You don't have to worry about getting knocked off. Now, oh, yeah, you do. Okay, I totally forgot about this. I mean, I did and I didn't. I recognize it, but I couldn't remember if this track had that part. Yeah, you do still have to worry about going too fast on certain parts. Like, you might go off a little jump or a little bump in the road, a little hop. And then you will, like that right there, you can actually fly off that track right there. And you can definitely fly off these, so I try not to boost right here. Because if I do, I'm very liable to just fly right off the course. I'm very cognizant of that when I'm playing this game. Is being aware of the little, you know, the little baby hills. Because if you're going too fast, you will absolutely fly off the track. Ooh, and I completely skid out there. Oh yeah, that's one of the other cool things about this game. You notice that opponent just slammed into a dead opponent? So when you destroy opponents, their wreckage remains on the track. It doesn't, like, fade out or teleport out or anything like that. It's really cool. So the more opponents you destroy, the more wreckage there is on the track, and they become obstacles. It's another really cool thing that wasn't really in the first F-Zero. First F-Zero didn't have, like, wreckage and stuff like that. It had these drones that were constantly on the course that you had to watch out for. And they could honestly get kind of annoying, especially the kamikaze ones that would explode when you touch them. But here's Sector B, or Sector Beta. This is one of my favorite courses in the game. There's a lot of fun stuff here. It's a good balance between, like, speed and challenge. Like this part right here, you can actually fly off the top of the course, so you gotta be really careful here. Actually, I'm thinking of a jump or a hill. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! It's the second time! Second time now. I got bumped, and I got bumped off the course. That was my fault. I wasn't, like, paying attention too much. Let's try this again. I have 3 lives left. I have to be a little careful here. And if I wanted to, I could try to slam into one of these guys. There's one. There's 2. Trying to slam into these guys, but I'm not doing a good enough bump. So that hill I just went down, that's actually one if you're boosting and you go off the top, you'll actually totally fly off the track, so you have to be very careful. Now we have these mines in the course, and I think this might be the first track with mines. So if you hit them, you will absolutely basically jump off of them. You're getting, like, bumped up into the air. And when you get bumped up into the air, it happens really, really fast. And so it's very easy to, like, fly off the track or slam into the wall. I'm trying to kill a bunch of opponents to try to gain an extra life. Yeah, this part right here, if I go too fast, I fly off. You gotta be very careful there. You definitely have to slow down. Same with this hill right here. Let's see if we can go fast here. I love the speed on this part. It's very fun. I let off gas intentionally. I wanted to slow down just a little bit. I just bumped into him just a little bit. So when you want to bump into enemies, you really want to, like, be at a slight distance. Do a double tap on the shoulder key, R, or Z. Z is not a shoulder key, but you pretend like Z is the L button a lot of times. When you're using the analog stick on N64, you kind of treat Z like it's the L button. Z in a game like this is usually L, and then R is R. So you either double tap Z to go left, or you double tap R to go right. And if you're just right next to the opponent, it's not going to really do anything. You're just going to do like a little sort of baby tap. So you need to be a slight distance away, and when you double tap it, your ship bounces over really fast, and that's when you slam them really hard. Oops. Keep messing up my tap. Yeah, very, very thin course here. Very, very thin energy regen strip. Alright, boost time. Just focus on going fast. Oh no, 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 no! I saw that coming. I knew that was gonna happen. That's one of those parts where you don't want to be going too fast because then that happens. I like when I fly off the courses like that for you guys because then you could see the risk of going fast. There are definitely risks involved. Now his wreckage is going to be on the track for the rest of the course. Oh no, man. I'm not doing very well so far. I only have 2 lives left. I have to be careful. Nice. I got an extra life. Yeah, it's 5 opponents. Yeah, I love that you can do that. You can be like, man, I failed, and you just kill a bunch of people, and you get an extra life, or 2. You know, you can destroy the entire roster technically. You're not limited to just those 5, the first 5 or whatever. I'm kind of scared to go really fast here because I've already flown off the track once. I just skid out. Yeah, you've got to really finesse that analog stick, otherwise you're gonna skid. There we go. Alright, take it slow. Okay, now I can speed up. Gotta be smart about it. Oh no! Oh, this is not good. Okay, that was actually kind of scary because I basically had no energy. I was worried someone was going to come up behind me and bump me. And I thought I wasn't going to hit that teensy tiny strip of pink energy. Yeah, definitely one of the scarier courses in the game. But I think I'm pretty much good to go. I don't even think I really have to try to win here. I think I'm already guaranteed to win. Alright, so this is White Land 2, probably my favorite course in the game. Because it's just, it can be kind of bonkers, like how fast you can go here. But it's a half pipe the entire way, so you've got the risk of flying off the half pipe every time. So you have to know these turns really well. Especially when you're going at top speed. Boost pad up there. Pink energy up top here. I'm going to try to go as fast as we can. Oops, I missed that boost. It's okay. Oh, I'm skidding. Skidding slows you down so much. I'm pretty sure I'm good here, like... I was going so... The AI generally doesn't go that fast in this course. Because it's so easy to fly off. But yeah, if you can boost almost the entire way, hit every boost pad as well, and just go like ridiculously fast, and it's very intense, very fun. Which is why it's my favorite course in the game. It's one that I've played probably the most in time attack mode or time trial or whatever it's called. Alright, Mute City 3, I'm pretty sure this is our last course for Queen Cup, and or sorry, King Cup. And then we're on to, I think it's the Joker Cup, which is the first unlockable cup. And there's a lot of danger on this course as well, but thankfully it's a little bit wider than some of the other courses. So I don't find it as difficult. Whoa there. Yeah, just kind of take it slow and steady. Go ahead and boost. Ooh, that was close. I held back just a little bit, and that actually saved me. That actually saved me. I seem to have an affinity for falling off courses in this playthrough. Alright, good deal. Alright, last lap. Oh, I missed the boost pad. Yeah, this is also a fun track, actually. If you get those jumps down, you can take some tiny shortcuts. Like that. And if you can do it while keeping your speed up, it's really satisfying. You'll notice that you do have mid-air control. When you're using your Z and R buttons, you can actually, you know, glide left or right in mid-air. Or strafe left or right, like it's a first-person shooter. Let's see what the rankings are. Oh yeah, I was way far ahead. I could have gotten like 20th place and I would have been fine. So that's one of the fun things about the ranking system in this game. It's much less stressful than some of the other F-Zero games because of the ranking system. Like in the original F-Zero, you had to finish between first and third place, no matter what. With F-Zero X and the ranking system, if you're high enough in points, you can finish 20th. It doesn't matter. As long as you end in top place. Well, technically, I guess it's just one. You can finish 1 through 3rd if you want this ending. But I always want to get first place. I always strive for first place in this game. So it's a little less stressful, honestly. You have a little more flexibility than you do in, you know, F-Zero as well as some of the Game Boy Advance ones. Well, I should say I think just Maximum Velocity uses the classic F-Zero formula. Whereas I think GP Legend and Climax, I think they use the ranking system like this does. So they're very similar in that regard. Although it's a lot easier to destroy opponents in this one, so you know, you can manipulate the rankings much easier in this game, in my opinion. But yeah, F-Zero X is just such an improvement overall. You know, it introduced new mechanics, it changed how some mechanics work, and it's honestly, I think it's for the better. Alright, on to our last cup. Joker Cup. So again, this is an unlockable, and look at this, we have Rainbow Road. This was a Mario Kart staple. And now it's also in F-Zero. Although it's not as trippy and colorful though, unfortunately. You've got these gray patches in between, which I wonder why Nintendo did that. I was wondering if maybe it was like a texture alignment issue, or maybe they thought that it just hurt people's eyes. Maybe that's it. Because I'm actually trying to imagine this with just completely rainbow textures, and maybe it looked way too bright. With how fast this game moves. You know, Mario Kart is one thing because it's a much slower paced game. But F-Zero X, on the other hand, very, very fast. We've got more mines, gotta watch out for these. Use your shoot 'em up skills to dodge them. And that first hill right there, you can actually fly right off that if you're going way too fast. So you have to be really careful. Yeah, pretty fun course overall. Nice little bonus, you know, it's a nod to Mario Kart. Still have to be careful though, because there are a lot of parts of this track that allow you to fall off, and you obviously don't want that to happen. Now, I don't really care if these guys are ahead of me. I'd rather just win. Not win, but I'd rather just finish the track. I think one of them actually fell off the course. Whoa, that guy just... he went crazy fast past me. Yeah, so like I said, I'm just... Ooh, okay, don't fall off. I just want to finish and then see who my rival is. Basically, the guy or two that finishes ahead of me, those will be my rivals. And then I can just focus on destroying them on the next course. Or if I get first place magically, then, you know, I'll take that too. Alright, we got our mines. Actually, it looks like we might even get first place. Yeah. Alright, I don't even have to worry. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, Samurai Goro, Dr. Clash, Mighty Gazelle, Drac, and Dr. Stewart. Dr. Stewart's another one from the original F-Zero. I think Pico was the last one from the original F-Zero, but he's nowhere to be found right now. He's farther down on the rankings. Alright, Devil's Force 3. Yeah, this is definitely a little more comfortable on the standard difficulty. I normally play on Expert, and it definitely gets a little more stressful on Expert. The AI is a little bit smarter, I'd say. But also... well, yeah, the AI is basically a little bit smarter. They drive smarter, they drive a little bit faster, and so it's hard to just race and just get first place. I have to rely more on... I mean, it's still possible to race and get first place, but... a lot of times I have to rely on destroying opponents if I want to actually get first place on Expert. And then Master is pretty much the same way. This course doesn't even seem like it's all that long. I like how it's mirrored up top. You can actually see racers on the ceiling above you. It's pretty cool. I kind of wish that that gimmick was used more often over the course of the game, because it is cool. Look at that. There they go. It's really neat. Oh! I was looking at the ceiling. I was looking at the ceiling, not focusing on the course down below. And then, like, I saw how the ceiling sort of, like, looped around on the bottom, and I tried dropping down to the bottom like it was normal. That was complete driver error. That was my fault. So, wow, that was something. Let's not look at the ceiling and admire it. Let's look at the track we're actually on. Still have 3 lives. Alright, doing better this time. Yeah, and overall, we're actually not doing too bad for me not having played this in a while. Like I said, this is one of those... I did it again! Why did I do it again? That's the second time! Why did I do that? Jeez, why? Alright, now this is gonna put me in a bind because I'm losing lives, and you know, if you lose all your lives, you get a game over, even if you're on the final track. And you've got to do it all over again. So I wanted to say, oh man, despite not having played this in a while, I'm still doing fine, but now that I'm starting to think that, I'm just dying left and right. So now I need to try to get some extra lives, because I don't trust myself. I can't believe I did that a second time. I wasn't even looking at the top track this time. It's just like, it's a really sharp turn, and I guess if you're just not careful, you're gonna just fly off the edge. Alright, so 4, one more, and I'll get an extra life. Yeah, it's right there. It's kind of like a little sharp edge. You can't really see over the hill. And I was just hugging the right-hand side. No, I almost did it again. I'm trying to get that extra life. It's gonna bite me in the butt at the same time. Oh, man. Wow, what a terrible track. Well, I mean, it's not that the track is terrible, what a terrible race is what I meant. And I didn't even get the extra life. I got 7th place, no extra life. I needed one more opponent, but I didn't want to fly off the ledge again. Oh boy, let's see where we are. We might still be 1st place. Oh, we're 2nd place now. We're 20 points behind, thanks to Dr. Clash. Okay, well this isn't looking good. Space Plant, Cylinder, and High Jump. I forgot some of these track names, like Space Plant. I want to get rid of that rival. A little bit of a frame drop there. Like I said, the frame rate can drop in this, but it's generally only when you're like trying to destroy opponents and there's a chain reaction that happens. Ooh. This is probably not the best time to try to attack him. I'm just skidding all over the place. Ice! One of the few times you actually see ice in this game.
You got full power.
See if I can get that rival, then I'll definitely be ahead of him in the rankings. I think I got him? I got him! Haha! Now I can drive comfortably. Stress-free. Mostly. Alright, should be some energy recharges here. Oh, man. So much for finessing. You can't even practice what I preach. Oh, that's not good. I'm going too fast! Oh, okay. Oh, these tracks get kind of intense. Man, oh man, oh man. Yeah, once you start getting, like, really fast, things can start going wrong really quickly. Third place. I think I might... That might have pushed me up towards first. I don't know, we'll see. Nice, we're back in first place. Although we only have a 13-point lead, so we're gonna have to kind of stay up ahead. All right, Sand Ocean 2. I don't recall this one being too bad. Lots of hills, though. You notice that the AI doesn't have a tendency of taking the inner corners on the turns, so that kind of gives you an advantage. So for those of you guys that aren't really familiar with racing in general, not just racing games, but taking the sharpest corner as close as possible is the fastest route, generally speaking. And so, you know, if you want to try to stay ahead, you want to try to take the corners as close as you can. And since the AI doesn't seem to do that much, you kind of have a little advantage there. Like, I'm not even boosting right now. I'm actually a little scared to boost, honestly. With all these, like, little bumps, I don't want to fly off the course. See, I just went off the course right there, or went off the track. Yeah, trying to take it nice and easy here. Yeah, went off the track again. He said you gotta be really careful. Yeah, these Joker Cup tracks are definitely a little more tricky than the first three, that's for sure. But we got first place again. So that puts us even higher in the rankings. Okay, I'm 42 points ahead. I'm pretty much guaranteed to get first place now. Oh, Port Town 2. For some reason I thought we were on our last one. So what are we up to already? We're up to an hour in recording, so we've been playing for probably, I don't know, intro is probably about 5 to 7 minutes. So less than an hour in terms of actual gameplay. What's actually kind of cool about this Port Town 2 is that it's a lot like the original Port Town from F-Zero 1, if I recall correctly. Have some of the same gimmicks, I think. Let's see. Do we? No, I'm actually misremembering. I'm getting a lot of other F-Zeros, like... a lot of my other F-Zero experiences are blending together right now. So never mind. Don't listen to me. I'm an idiot. I mean, it is similar. You have that first jump right there, but... I was expecting, like, the little magnet things. But nope. I'm actually just confusing it for the first F-Zero. You notice that I'm not really boosting a whole lot right now. It's because, like, there's so many tight turns that I just don't really find it worth it. So that is one thing about these Joker Cup tracks, is like, you seem like you're less incentivized to boost. I mean, there are definitely some similarities to the first Port Town in F-Zero, that's for sure. Like, even like that little back and forth turn at the very end. It's a super sharp turn on F-Zero 1, but in this, it's just like a little wobble back and forth. But it's still, I can see the similarities. Yeah, see, left and then right. Whew, alright, good deal. And so our last track is this level that's like, it's the shape of a hand. And I don't think there's a single wall on that track. I think it's entirely open. Let's see if I'm right. Yeah, big hand. Deadly curves. Actually, it might not be entirely open, but a lot of it is open. Yeah, there's some walls here. But a lot of it is open, so you have to be very careful. Alright, and I think this is actually our final course. And then that's pretty much it. Alright, I'm just going to take it nice and safe. Because it doesn't really matter where I finish at this point. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm so far ahead in points that it doesn't really matter. I just want to take it nice and easy. It's a little bit, honestly, if you get ahead of the track, or not track, ahead of the pack, you have a much better chance of surviving because you have less obstacles to worry about. You have less opponents to slam into, less opponents to slam you off the track. But I've always had a hard time kind of like getting a handle on this course in terms of like getting ahead in first place. It just always feels a little too risky. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just kind of hang back a little bit. Notice that the AI doesn't seem to get too overly aggressive with attacking you, which is nice. I can't imagine this game if they were just like slamming into you left and right. That would be so frustrating. Some of the other F-Zero games are really frustrating in that regard, especially like Maximum Velocity and you know, the original Super Nintendo one. The AI will just bump into you left and right. It's kind of frustrating. But in this, they kind of just like stay in their own lane for the most part. You do still have to watch out for them. Like, that guy just bumped right into me. Final lap. Okay. Let's see if we can just stay the course. Try to finesse my way around this ice. Nice, that was good. Nice ice. Alright, we're getting close. We're almost there, guys. Uh-oh. Don't want to get too fast. Alright, and that's it. We just did it. Nice. Oh man, and that, ladies and gentlemen, was F-Zero X on the standard difficulty. I don't think I've ever done standard on my YouTube channel here. I think I've always done expert mode, which, as you can see, is understandably stressful. Even standard mode got a little stressful there, as I kept falling off the courses. Let's see if it gives us an actual ending. Or is that just reserved for expert mode? I don't know, because I haven't done standard mode since probably the 90s. Like, once I got a really good handle on this game, I pretty much just always played expert mode. So let's see what happens. This will actually be not necessarily a first for me, but it'll be the first in a long time. My time has not yet passed. I feel like he says something else if you beat the whole game on expert. I feel like there's a little bit more. Wow, okay, okay, interesting. So, that's actually quite interesting. If you beat it on expert, you actually get an end credit sequence. And I can't remember if Captain Falcon says something else, but yeah, you actually get end credits with the new ending theme and all that stuff. It's really cool. So, I mean, that was F-Zero GX, guys. Not GX, F-Zero X on the standard difficulty. I'll show off the X Cup real quick, just so you guys can see what it's like. This is a completely, like, randomized cup. So GP Standard Race X. This is literally just a circle. Yeah, this is just, it's really cool that this mode's even in here. These tracks obviously aren't going to be nearly as well designed as the main course, so to speak, but it's cool that this is in here. You know, it gives you something else to mess around with and have fun with. Now, as far as I'm aware, I don't think there's a way to save any of these courses, so, you know, if you find a course randomized that you kind of like, well, you're probably not going to get it again or anytime soon, or maybe you'll get something similar to it, but these are not permanent courses. These are just completely randomly generated, apparently. No boost pads, no nothing. Just actual boost. Alright, got first. Nice. Now, I've never actually fully played through the X Cup. I don't know if it's an actual full cup. Like, you can do 5 races and you get an ending. But let's see. Why not? Yeah, number 2. Let's keep rolling with it. Okay. So looks interesting. There goes my rival. Oh man, that's a sharp turn. Yeah, so I don't know these courses at all. And no one should. Like I said, they're randomized. So, this will be interesting. Lots of sharp turns already. This is a nice smooth turn. I'm looking at the map, and yeah, definitely a smooth turn on the map. We're gonna have a hard left coming up, apparently. Okay, yeah. And a very sharp U-turn here. This is the start. I'm gonna actually have to use my brake button here for some of these. I never use the brake functionality in this game. It's so awkward having to hit the C down button when I've got my thumb on A and B already. Alright, we're gonna have to brake. Wow. I did it. I did it without hitting the corner. Or the outer turn. There we go. Did it again. I'm gonna have to mess around with the X Cup more often. It's actually one thing I didn't really toy around with much back in the day, because I was like, the courses aren't all that interesting typically. And I'd rather like log times and stuff like that for, you know, the main courses in the game. Try to get better at each track, you know, practice, practice, practice. So X Cup didn't have much appeal at the time when the game was new. But, that's kind of interesting now. It's a nice bonus. I like it. It's especially fun to show off on a YouTube video like this. Alright, so this one actually doesn't look like it's too bad. Sharp turn coming up. Whoa, that is a weird turn. It's kind of nauseating too. Makes me nauseous. That is one thing about deliberately designed courses, is if something doesn't feel right and it makes the players sick, you can adjust it. But with a randomly designed track like this, it's a little bit harder to have those safeguards in place. It's so awkward. That is so awkward. Oh man. That's kind of what makes this whole thing interesting, though, you know? Yeah, I should probably boost. This track seems pretty safe for the most part. I don't see any, like, parts where you can fall off. Like, there are walls on the entire track. Ugh. Racing games don't normally, like, make me nauseous, but that little turn does. Yeah, and I don't even really care about getting first place and whatever. I just kind of want to see through all 5, you know, tracks. I mean, if I get first place, I'm not going to complain, but I'm not expecting to. Of course, right as I say that, I get it. Yeah, it's interesting how the courses are still about 1.5 minutes long, despite being completely randomized. And we're first. Okay. Alright, number 4. Always go more towards max speed. Your acceleration's not really all that important. Alright, looks like we have some smooth turns here. Some fun textures there. I like that. I like that like light blue texture. It's kind of nice. Although this is actually kind of funny. It's mixing up texture combinations. Like you see the tunnel was like part one course and then part you know, Whiteland. A little bit of this is Big Blue and a little bit of it is not. It's kind of weird actually. You can definitely tell there's not much rhythm and rhyme to how the randomized mode uses textures. I mean, maybe that's the point. Is it being random? Yeah, this course is actually pretty easy, surprisingly. First place again! Alright, let's see. I'm assuming this next one is our last one. Is it 5 or 6? I don't remember. Let's see. And this one doesn't look too bad either. A little bit of Red Canyon there. This is interesting. I don't think you really see this texture very often in the game. This like striped texture. It's actually pretty cool. I like it. I wonder if they end up using like some of the unused textures in the game, or textures that are very rarely used. That is pretty cool. Fly off the course. Oh, no, we're not going to. Nice. Have to be careful. Uh-oh. Okay, we're good. Yeah, that was like a big amalgamation of textures from a variety of tracks. It's interesting. Alright, number 6. Let's see if this is the last one. If it doesn't end after this, then I'll probably just call it a video. But let's see. Another take on Big Blue. So we got the music. So we had 2 boost pads so far. Not much else. Not a particularly interesting course. Looks like we do have a sharp turn coming up, though. You can use the map down in the bottom right if, you know, you haven't played some courses before. You can kind of get a heads up on what's coming up by quickly looking at it. Oh, it looks like there's 3 boost pads. There was 2 at the very beginning. And another one. And another one. Okay. Man, this game is so good. I'm having a good time playing it. I don't want to stop playing it. Because I haven't played it in a while. There we go. Okay, yeah, it is 6 tracks. I don't know why I thought it was 5. Cool. So it does, X Cup does actually end. That's cool. And every track's just gonna be called X. I like that, that's funny. Oh man, yeah, so there you go guys, F-Zero X. Wait, no. I'm not gonna do the outro yet. I'm gonna play Death Race. Since we're here, and if you're still watching, you're probably like one of the few that actually made it this far in the video. I'll show off Death Race, and some of you guys may not have seen that before. It's not all that crazy. It's literally just you driving around the track, trying to destroy everything, but I will show it off, because I don't think I showed it off in previous videos on my channel, so... My time has not yet passed. Tell us something we don't know, Captain Falcon. I like that. That was cool. They did the X symbol. Very cool. That's actually unique. I like that. Yeah, I've never actually finished X Cup in this game, so that was kind of cool. And it's like a fun thing to mess around with. Some of those courses were actually pretty neat. Others weren't so neat, but that's kind of like just how it goes. Alright, so this is Death Race. Best time is a little under 5.5 minutes. So again, the goal here is just to destroy as much as you can. You got unlimited boost right away. Oh, that was a bad start. Let's retry. Very bad start. Let's try it again. This is a good way to practice your destruction skills. There's one. There's another. It's actually pretty humorous, just slamming into enemies left and right. Trust me, it's a great skill to have in the main game itself. If you can do it consistently, you know, it's kind of crucial actually for the higher difficulties. It really is. Right, let me slow down. Let him catch up with me. I definitely have an easier time doing it from the left. Ah, there we go. Gotta make that jump. Alright, let me speed up. I love how fast you can get on this track, too. He bumped into me from the back and died. That was good. I'm having a good time with this. This is actually pretty fun. Alright, let's try to speed up even more. Alright, there's another one. Got him. Alright, just 2 left. There's one behind me. Oh, there's one ahead of me, too. Come on. Oh, another one died. I think one of them must have slammed into the debris and died. Alright, so we'll just catch up to this other guy, wherever he is. It would be cool if there was like a heads-up display kind of telling you where the opponents were. Nice. Wow, we cut our time in half. Yeah, we cut our time in half. Nice. That's really cool. But there you have it, guys. That is F-Zero X for the Nintendo 64. Not exactly what I would call a quote-unquote quick play. This was an hour and a half long, but again, the point of this video series is to just like fire up a game and just play it. A lot of times I try to go into these cold. Sometimes I don't, but for the most part I do. And in this case, I haven't played this in quite a while, so I definitely went into it cold. But had a great time going through it again. It's like I said, it's one of my favorite driving games ever, and easily my favorite Nintendo 64 game by a long shot. And it's just so much fun to play. If you guys haven't played this before, I highly recommend it. Preferably on original hardware with an original N64 controller. If you play it on something like the Switch Online service or the Wii U Virtual Console or something like that, it's not quite as good because the controls don't feel as tight. But if you can play it on original hardware, it's just it's a phenomenal game. Even to this day, it's fantastic. Runs smooth, it plays great, it's super snappy, it's got a kicking soundtrack, and lots of stuff to do, lots of characters to play as, different things to unlock, and you know, it's just great, man. I love this game. So, but yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other games that you'd like to see me cover in this quick play format, this super lazy format, let me know in the comment section below, and yeah, I'll be back with some other videos sometime soon. So, thanks again for watching, guys, and I guess until the next one, take it easy.